Keira Langston had become a powerful voice exposing corruption within law enforcement, until a pair of dirty officers paid off a judge to set her up on false drug charges. Pulled from her neighborhood and dragged into court, she faced disgrace and a system designed to crush dissent. But what those officers didn't realize was Keira wasn't only defending herself, she was stepping into that courtroom as their superior. Can the woman they aimed to break become the one to bring them down? If that struck a nerve, hit like, share, and stick around. The real story starts now. People used to say Redbrook was the kind of place where you didn't need to lock your doors, where the newspaper still listed baby announcements and church fundraisers. But that was before the decay took root, before those in uniform began deciding who deserved justice. It wasn't sudden, it never is. It crept in bit by bit through funding cuts, shady agreements, and a quiet so heavy it hung in the air like fog. Then came Keira Langston. She didn't show up shouting into a megaphone or leading rallies in the streets, that wasn't her style. Keira was composed, deliberate, and razor-sharp. A black lawyer who didn't just know the law, she honored it. And in a place like Redbrook, that kind of woman was considered a threat. She didn't raise her voice, she asked the right questions. She didn't point fingers, she uncovered the truth. And every courtroom she entered, she left it with new fractures in a system never meant for someone like her to succeed. She earned people's trust, not only from the black community, but also from the quiet ones, the forgotten. Even white families whose sons had been ruined by police deception started to believe in her. Her name was passed around in hushed tones over coffee. Folks started tuning into council meetings again. Because Keira Langston knew how to ask the one question no one wanted recorded. And that terrified men like Travis Maddox. He'd worn the badge in Redbrook for more than 2 decades, plenty of time to learn which judges had a price and which crimes could disappear. He wasn't the noisiest or the most brutal, but he was the one calling the shots. His partner, Ryan Hale, he was the muscle behind Travis's quiet manipulation. If you found yourself alone with both, it usually meant your fate had already been sealed. They tried to scare her off long ago. Travis once stopped her without cause, saying she matched a vague profile. She just smiled and gave him her card. She understood the game. He assumed she'd be intimidated. She wasn't. And now she was just one vote shy of gaining subpoena authority over the entire department. That night, Travis dialed a number. It wasn't listed on any city log. The voice that answered didn't need a name. He just said, "It's time. I want her ruined permanently." Then he paused. Give her something heavy, drugs, big charges. Make it look federal. Frighten the public. Shatter her image. Destroy her.
Make the name dirty. A pause. Leave the judge to me. Travis ended the call. He didn't glance at Ryan or speak again. But their silence said everything. In Redbrook, power wasn't threatened by the truth, it was terrified of the one who reflected it. And Keira Langston was about to be broken.
The hollow had no sign on the door, it didn't need advertising. The ones who mattered already knew the way. Inside, it smelled like stale whiskey and memories best forgotten. No one blinked when 3 unsmiling men stepped through the entrance. Judge Nathan Callahan was already sitting when Travis Maddox and Ryan Hale showed up. He looked diminished, slouched in the booth, tie loosened, untouched glass in front of him. No one exchanged greetings. They didn't need to. They were here for the same thing. Travis sat across from him, composed, like someone setting a noose on the table, waiting for it to be used. "We need a warrant," he said. "Tonight." Callahan didn't react right away. "For who?" "Keira Langston." The name sucked the air out of the booth. The judge leaned back and stared, as if Travis had just proposed torching City Hall. "Are you insane?" he said. "She's not some low-level hustler. She's spotless. Respected. Honestly, she's a couple of moves from landing a federal judgeship if she plays it smart. Which makes this. Don't want you getting in too deep. She nodded and gave a small laugh, though her stomach churned. That night, back home, she pulled out the notebook she hadn't opened in months, not for a case, not for anyone else. Just something she'd started writing in as a teen, when life felt too heavy to carry in silence. She wrote what she couldn't bring herself to say: I'm not special. I'm not strong. But if I ignore this, if I pretend it's not happening, I'll become nothing at all. They tried to bury her. But maybe I can dig back. She didn't sign the page, only shut the notebook and slid it beneath her bed. Because now, she wasn't just observing, she was in the middle of it. And like it or not, the barrier they built to keep the truth out was already beginning to crumble. The courtroom carried the scent of varnished wood and silent tension. It was the kind of morning where every suit was pressed and every face unreadable. Reporters had been given the last 2 rows, but the judge made it clear, this wasn't to be a media circus, at least not officially.